8 feet of snow is about to bury the Sierra Nevada starting tomorrow, with wind gusts exceeding 100 miles per hour at the ridge tops. And Caltrans is already warning that mountain travel will be, quote, impossible during the peak of this storm. 100 million Americans are waking up to winter weather alerts this morning, stretching from the California mountains all the way to the New England coastline. And this is just the beginning of a 10-day onslaught. Phoenix is basking in 72 degrees of desert sunshine right now, while Minneapolis shivers at 25 degrees with 5 inches of snow in the forecast. That's nearly a 50-degree temperature swing happening across this country as we speak. And here's what just shifted in the pattern that nobody expected. Temperatures across the central states are running an absolutely insane 40 degrees above normal, shattering records while the mountains get buried. This winter is about to take a serious turn. And I'm going to break down exactly what you need to know because the next 10 days are shaping up to be one of the most active stretches we've seen all season. All right, folks, think of this pattern like a 1-2 punch from Mother Nature herself. The first hit slams the West Coast with historic mountain snow tomorrow, and the second punch crosses the Rockies by midweek to hammer the Midwest and Northeast. We're tracking 2 back-to-back winter storms over the next 10 days, and depending on where you live, you could be digging out from 8 feet of mountain snow, dealing with dangerous ice, or enjoying 70-degree record warmth. Now, before we dive into all the details, drop your city in the comments right now. I genuinely want to know where you're watching from and what Mother Nature is throwing at you today. And stick with me through this entire breakdown, because at the end I've got 3 bold predictions you can screenshot, plus the exact timing on when that Arctic blast finally arrives to end this false spring. So, let me start with the West Coast because this is where the most dangerous weather is heading. And the numbers coming out of the models are absolutely staggering. The Sierra Nevada mountains are looking at 4 to 8 feet of snow at the higher elevations, with some ridge tops potentially exceeding 10 feet, and wind gusts over 100 miles per hour creating complete whiteout conditions. In plain English, we're talking about hurricane-force winds combined with blinding snow. The kind of conditions where you literally cannot see your hand in front of your face. Lake Tahoe and the surrounding communities are expecting 18 to 36 inches of snow at lake level, with much higher amounts just a few thousand feet up the mountain. Donner Pass on I-80 and Echo Summit on Highway 50 will almost certainly close during the height of this storm, and Caltrans is telling people to avoid mountain travel entirely Monday through Wednesday. And here's what makes this timing especially dangerous. This is President's Day weekend, which means thousands of people are heading to Tahoe for skiing. And many of them could get trapped up there for days. Here's the question I need you to answer honestly if you're planning mountain travel this week and get stuck in a whiteout with no cell service. Do you have enough supplies in your car to survive 24 hours? Because that's exactly what search and rescue teams are warning about right now. People getting stranded on mountain passes with no way to call for help and temperatures dropping below freezing. The National Weather Service is calling this potentially the coldest and most powerful storm of the entire winter season for Northern California and Western Nevada. Sacramento at 62 degrees with light rain developing, but just 90 miles east in the mountains. You're looking at 4 to 8 feet of snow. That's the dramatic difference elevation makes in California. San Francisco at 58 degrees with fog and drizzle. The Bay Area stays relatively calm, but you'll definitely feel this storm's presence with gusty winds and cooler temperatures. And here's the wild part that most people don't realize: there's actually a 2% tornado risk for parts of California tomorrow, including areas around Los Angeles and east of San Francisco. That's rare for California. And while the risk is low, the fact that it's even on the table tells you how dynamic and powerful this incoming storm system really is. Los Angeles at 68 degrees with scattered showers. San Diego at 65 degrees with light rain. Southern California gets the wet side of this storm without the mountain snow drama. Reno at 48 degrees but dropping fast tonight, with 1 to 2 inches of valley snow and dangerous travel conditions developing on the passes by Monday evening. Seattle at 48 degrees with steady rain and heavy mountain snow in the Cascades. Portland at 50 degrees with similar conditions. The Pacific Northwest is getting soaked. Now let me shift your attention to what happens after this West Coast storm crosses the Rockies, because that's when a brand new winter storm develops that could impact tens of millions. By Tuesday night and Wednesday, all that Pacific moisture pushes over the Rockies and a significant winter storm will explode across the northern plains and upper Midwest. We're talking heavy snow from North Dakota through northern Minnesota into the upper peninsula of Michigan, with some areas potentially seeing 6 to 8 inches of accumulation. Minneapolis at 25 degrees with 5 inches of snow in the forecast and wind chills approaching minus 25. This is serious winter storm territory, folks. St. Paul at 26 degrees with 4.5 inches. Milwaukee at 28 degrees with 4 inches. Chicago at 32 degrees with 3 inches. The Great Lakes region is definitely in the crosshairs. Detroit at 30 degrees with 3.5 inches of snow. Buffalo at 30 degrees with 4 inches of lake effect. Cleveland at 32 degrees with 2 inches. The Rust Belt is getting hammered. And here's what concerns me most about this Midwest storm. It's going to split into 2 pieces as it moves east, creating a double threat for different regions. One piece continues dumping snow on the northern tier states, while the other tracks toward the northeast and could bring significant snow and ice Wednesday evening into Thursday. Vermont, New Hampshire, and upstate New York are looking at 4 to 8 inches of snow over the next 7 days, with freezing rain possible in the valleys creating dangerous travel. Indianapolis at 33 degrees with 2.5 inches. Columbus at 34 degrees with 2 inches. Pittsburgh at 35 degrees with 2 inches. The Ohio Valley is right in that messy snow zone. Madison at 29 degrees with 3.5 inches. Grand Rapids at 31 degrees with 3 inches. Fort Wayne at 34 degrees with 2.5 inches. The upper Midwest is bracing for significant accumulation. Sioux Falls at 30 degrees with 3.5 inches. Rochester at 32 degrees with 2.5 inches. Omaha at 35 degrees with 2.5 inches. The Plains states are right in the bullseye. But wait, there's more bad news for winter-weary folks. A second winter storm is already showing up on the models for late this week, Thursday into Friday. This second system has the potential to bring another round of heavy snow to Minnesota and the Dakotas, then track into the Great Lakes and possibly the Mid-Atlantic by the weekend. In plain English, some areas could see back-to-back winter storms just 48 to 72 hours apart, which means the snow just keeps piling up with no break in between. Now let me give you the Northeast breakdown because today is relatively quiet. But the bigger action arrives later this week and you need to be ready. New York City at 35 degrees with 1.5 inches of snow possible today. Nothing major but enough to make the roads slick for the evening commute. Boston at 36 degrees with 2 inches in the forecast. Philadelphia at 38 degrees with about an inch. Washington, D.C. at 40 degrees with an inch. Light snow across the I-95 corridor. Baltimore at 39 degrees with 1.2 inches. Newark at 36 degrees with 1.5 inches. Providence at 37 degrees with nearly 2 inches. Southern New England getting the most. The real threat for the Northeast comes Wednesday evening into Thursday when that split storm system arrives with potentially 3 to 5 inches for the major cities. Now here's the part that's going to blow the minds of winter lovers while the North gets buried. The central states are experiencing one of the most extreme heat waves of the winter. Temperatures are running an absolutely insane 25 to 40 degrees above normal from Texas all the way up to Minnesota, shattering records left and right. Dallas at 60 degrees feeling like April. Houston at 62 degrees and balmy. San Antonio at 65 degrees. Texas is 30 degrees warmer than it should be for mid-February. Oklahoma City at 55 degrees with scattered rain. Kansas City at 40 degrees right on the cold front boundary. This is exactly where warm and cold air are battling it out. Denver at 42 degrees with 4 inches of mountain snow nearby. Salt Lake City at 40 degrees with 3 inches in the Wasatch. Colorado Springs at 45 degrees with 3 inches. And here's the wild contrast that honestly blows my mind every single time I see it. Minneapolis at 25 degrees and snowing while Phoenix sits pretty at 72 degrees with blue skies. That's a 47-degree difference between two major American cities. And that kind of extreme contrast is exactly what fuels powerful storm systems. Miami at 78 degrees with tropical perfection. Orlando at 74 degrees with scattered showers. Tampa at 72 degrees. Florida is the escape zone if you're sick of winter. Honolulu at 80 degrees with paradise conditions. Las Vegas at 58 degrees with clear skies. Tucson at 70 degrees with desert sunshine. The Southwest is gorgeous right now. Phoenix at 72 degrees and perfect. Scottsdale at 71 degrees. Mesa at 71 degrees. If you want to escape winter entirely, Arizona is calling your name. Atlanta at 54 degrees with rain developing. Nashville at 50 degrees with mixed precipitation. Charlotte at 52 degrees. The South is caught in that transition zone today. Memphis at 55 degrees with scattered rain. Birmingham at 58 degrees with showers. New Orleans at 68 degrees with thunderstorms possible. The Gulf Coast stays warm but wet. Jacksonville at 70 degrees with that severe weather risk today. Tallahassee at 70 degrees in the storm path. The Florida Panhandle needs to stay weather aware through this evening. Now let me tell you what happens after all these storms pass. Because the pattern is about to flip dramatically and winter is finally going to arrive for the central states. Some models are showing an Arctic blast arriving late next week that could finally end this ridiculous 40 degrees above normal fall spring everyone's been enjoying. The polar vortex disruption that's been building in the stratosphere is finally working its way down to the surface, and once it fully connects, the cold air floods south. Dallas might actually feel cold by next weekend after running 30 to 40 degrees above normal all week, and trust me, after a stretch like that, even 50 degrees feels brutal. The GFS model is already hinting at below average temperatures returning to the central and eastern states by late February, which would be a dramatic shift from what we're seeing now. And here's why that matters for severe weather when that cold air finally clashes with the residual warmth sitting over the Gulf states. We could see some powerful storms develop. The back half of February and early March could be extremely active with both winter weather and severe weather as this pattern transition plays out. Now, here's what I need you to do based on where you are. Because different regions require completely different game plans for the next 10 days. If you're in the Sierra Nevada or planning mountain travel this week, seriously reconsider your plans. This storm will be life-threatening and travel will be impossible at times. Make sure your vehicle has emergency supplies, blankets, water, snacks, a flashlight, and a fully charged portable phone charger. These items could save your life if you get stranded. If you're in the upper Midwest from Minneapolis through Wisconsin to Michigan, prepare for significant snow Wednesday and Thursday. Stock up on groceries and fill your gas tank now. If you're in the Northeast, the Wednesday-Thursday snow event could bring 3 to 5 inches to the major cities. Plan for a messy commute and give yourself extra travel time. And if you're in the central states enjoying this record warmth, soak it up while you can because the Arctic blast coming late next week is going to feel like a slap in the face. All right, here are my 3 bold predictions. Screenshot this right now because you can absolutely hold me to these when everything plays out over the next 10 days. Prediction number 1. Donner Pass on I-80 closes for at least 48 consecutive hours, Monday night through Wednesday evening due to whiteout conditions and avalanche control operations. Prediction number 2. The Sierra Nevada ridge tops exceed 10 feet of snow by Thursday morning, making this the biggest single storm of the entire winter season for California. Prediction number 3. Minneapolis sees back-to-back snow events totaling at least 10 inches by next Sunday, with wind chills dropping below minus 20 degrees at some point. If I'm wrong on any of these, I'll own it right here on this channel. That accountability is exactly how you know you can trust what I'm telling you day after day. So let me bring it all together. 8 feet of Sierra snow incoming with 100 miles per hour winds, 2 back-to-back winter storms crossing the country, and 100 million Americans under weather alerts. Remember that 1-2 punch from Mother Nature I mentioned at the beginning? The first punch lands tomorrow on the West Coast, and the second crosses the Rockies to hammer the Midwest by Wednesday. Meanwhile, the central states are enjoying record-breaking warmth 40 degrees above normal, but that party ends when the Arctic blast arrives late next week to flip everything. This winter is about to take a serious turn. And honestly, folks, this is one of the most dynamic and significant pattern changes we've seen all season long. I'll have an update first thing tomorrow morning with the latest on that Sierra monster storm, the exact Midwest snow timeline, and whether that Arctic blast is going to verify. Drop your city in the comments one more time with what you're seeing outside, and I'll catch you in the next update. Stay safe and stay prepared out there, folks.